Hi loves, welcome back to my channel. My name is Intianu. If this is your first time here on this channel, I go by the Chronic Reader. What do? We talk about books and sometimes drama. Today is a reading vlog. I want to start reading again. This year has been really awkward for me because last year wasn't really a great reading month, a reading year rather. I actually did not really feel like I needed to be reading as well. So it was this reading slump where I just honestly wasn't interested in trying to read. But we got into this year and I have wanted to be reading, but then it just works out that I actually haven't been reading. January came by, I didn't finish a single book. I was able to finish five in February. I was also able to finish five in March. In April, I finished only one. And so it is the 1st of May, and I am trying to systemize myself to see if that kind of helps. Because looking at this book, the ones on my e-shelf and the ones on my physical TBR, and everything just sounds so interesting. And it feels like I want to read everything all at once, which is actually one of the major reasons I haven't been reading as much. So I am trying to systemize things. So there will be a couple of vlogs with various themes according to what type of books I am reading at the time, what category they fall into. We have three books for this blog, and I have also decided to take off pressure for myself by not putting a time limit. So usually when I say a vlog, I'd be like, oh, this is a weekly reading vlog, this is a weekend reading vlog, none of that. Okay, this is for the period of time it's going to take us to finish these three books. And the three books that are going to be featured in today's blog are books that I have started but haven't finished. Not because I am not particularly enjoying them for the most part. And even the ones I'm not really enjoying are still books I want to finish, but just because I haven't been reading, I haven't been able to finish them. I'll introduce them to you guys from the most recent to the one I picked up the farthest away. The English escapes me. The first book we have is A Broken Kind of Love by Adesa Omanwokede, which is an age gap romance, an older woman and a younger guy. I think they have an age gap of about 10, 11-ish years, if I'm not mistaken. I'm not yet up to 20% in that book. And I actually picked this book up in the month of April. Right, and I picked it up because I was really trying so hard to get over this drama that had taken over my life since December last year. Like from December last year till pretty much March, this was literally the only thing I was watching. Like I'd finished the last episode and I just go back to episode one. It was that bad for me because it was so good. And that drama is Sniper Butterfly. It's a Chinese drama. It is an age gap with an older woman. She in the drama. There is an 11-year age gap between them, and I just thought it was the most endearing, cutest thing ever. Okay, I really like how they explored kind of that dynamic because it was a very risky line, because how the main characters in that story meet is that they meet when she decides to sponsor his last year of high school. He is, I think, 19, and because he's in a village and his relatives are not supportive of it, she takes him into her household, but he's not living with her full time. He stays in the dormitory and comes back like once in a while on weekends. It starts off towing a really questionable line, but I really love how the story was handled. Like it did not cross any moral boundaries or anything like that. Like at worst, you kind of just feel uncomfortable with the age gap, and then the characters had like so much chemistry, and so it was just a very beautiful story that I could not get over personally. But I just thought that there had to be a limit to this, so I was going to move on from that with a book which is supposed to be A Broken Kind of Love. So from what I've read so far, I'm going to tell you guys that I don't think A Broken Kind of Love is going to do that for to be fair, but we'll still just have to see how it goes as well. The next one is The Motive. I don't know if I'm going to post my March reading diaries. I'm contemplating so bad if I want to post that. Most likely not. But in case you guys see that this book was lended to me, my sister's colleague gave it to her in January. So at the end of March, I did say that if I haven't finished this, I would, that is in April, then I would return it. But I didn't even get the chance to pick up anything, so I'm giving myself the period of this reading vlog to finish this and return this book to the owner. Thankfully, they haven't really been asking about it as well. For this book, I am in chapter 2, just the beginning of chapter 2, that is page 14. This is a legal thriller. I am not so much a fan of the main character, what I think is the main character, this detective guy that is just all about, like, he's solving a case, and I guess it's to add some personality to him, plus the time period I guess this was written in. But the snide remarks about, like, women and, having sexual interaction with them when we are kind of supposed to be focusing on a case is throwing me off, throwing me off so bad. We'll see how it goes. And the last one, which is actually what I am starting with today, is The Famished Word by Ben Okri, which I did pick up in November. I am currently at page 126. I've just been reading this bits and pieces. So I am really excited to get back into this book. Like, this book is always on my mind, but I think I am highly intimidated, first of all, by the size, because it has about 500 and something pages, and secondly, by the content, which is not very challenging for me, but it's also like out of normal imagination. If you've read this book, you know. But obviously, when I start reading these books, I will be giving you guys more detailed updates about my thoughts and maybe what they are about vaguely. But yeah, just to introduce the TBR. So that is the plan for the beginning of the month of May, and I will obviously be updating you guys as I go. It's Sunday. It's around evening time. Last time I checked the time, it was, I think, like 4 o'clock. So I have been making good progress with the famished read, which I actually did not pick up until yesterday. So I didn't do any reading whatsoever on Friday, and I have made quite good progress. I think I'm about to hit the 60-page mark, like, of pages I've read, because yesterday I read 30 pages of the book, and I think I'm about to get to today's 30 page, even though I'm not doing a 30-page limit. So I want to go outside and read because it's getting quite dark inside and there is no light, and I want to make a really fun drink. So I decided to bring you guys along with me. So we have my water bottle here. Uh, it's I've forgotten what they call this thing. I think it's a thermos flask they call it. So it retains temperature, which is quite fitting for the drink we want to make today. And the drink we are making today is water. It's not a joke, anyways, but here, water with crushed ice and chilled water. And we're going to be mixing this to give us the perfectly chilled temperature of water. I'm making water. I'm making water. Finally, it is the end for me of Sunday, because I'm about to turn off all the lights and go to bed to get ready for another 6 day work week. Let me update you guys. So I thought that my next update on this book would be when I had read about 100 pages. So I told you guys I was on page 126 when I started. Currently I'm on page 206. So I have read 80 pages, just 20 pages short of 100, and I just want to update because I never know how my week goes, and yeah, let's do it now. Let's just do it now. Okay, so first off, what is The Famished Road all about? The Famished Road is actually the first book in a trilogy, the Famished Road trilogy, as it's very boldly written on the cover. And in this, we are following Azaro, who is a spirit child. So, these children, if you're familiar with Nigerian culture, that they refer to as Obanje, that usually come and kind of like die early and stuff. And so Azaro, yes, is one of those children. And in his case, instead of going back to the spirit world, he has decided to stay. And from what we know so far, he has said to stay because of his mom. These spirit children, they go through these endless cycles of birth and death and birth and death, according to Azaro's testimony. They're following him in his journey as he is now determined to stay in the human world, which, by the way, his species, like the spirit children, consider as a place of suffering, and their spirit world, from his description and just from their general perception, as he has told us, is way better than the human world, right? But when I was talking about this in the books I want to read before the end of last year, I mentioned how I thought that, this book is going to be one of those books that, highlights the grandiose of humanity, in the sense where we get the fantasy creature that is also powerful in their world, in their realm, look down on humans, have no idea what is so great about humanity, but then they come to experience the sufferings, the pain, the betrayal, all the emotions, and all of a sudden they are so empathetic, and they honestly can see the beauty of humanity, which is like my favorite way to see fantasy in any form of fiction. To be honest, I talked about all that in that video. And that's kind of what's happening here. We have Azaro kind of switching between the extraordinary and the ordinary, and it provides this contrast that started off really unsettling, but the more I read, the more comforting it is to me, because he has this moments where he's just wandering on this roads, and if you read this book you kind of get it. He's just wandering, and he's like in the midst of all these creatures going through all these insane kind of just out of imagination things. But then we get to the ordinary, particularly very ordinary part of things, where he's in this one room, very tiny, with his mom and his dad. And honestly, I crave those moments. I crave the normalcy of those moments. I crave like the ordinariness of those moments. And already it's just doing that one thing that I said this book was going to do, because we come from all that imagination, all that extraordinariness. And I find myself looking for the comfort of the mundane. And also, this book is really exploring poverty. And I can really see why this book is titled The Famished Road, because Azaro and his family, truly, they are famished. And all the roads he's wandering, and it's just aptly named. And I just knew this book was going to be great from the minute I saw the name, even though I thought it was going to be a book of poetry, because I only knew Ben Okri as a poet before I got it. But so far, it is not proving me wrong in any expectation I have had of it. That is update for this night. I'll see you guys when we have more to talk about concerning this book. Long time no update. It's currently Thursday evening. I guess the last update was Saturday, Sunday evening. I called it, you guys. I called it that I would have no time to update during the week, but we have a bit of a yap session, so I suggest you get ready to hear me yap. First update, we have gotten up to page 352 in The Famished Road by Ben Okri. So we have less than 40% to be done with this book. I'm actually really enjoying it. Like, nothing I expressed to you guys on Sunday night has changed, but I want to drop this. I want to drop this because I want to try and read the other books and then kind of like pick this up to close out the vlog, because this book is just going to be too good. And I don't think these other two books are going to kind of measure up to that. And it might leave me in a slump, not wanting to read any other thing. Plus, my sister has informed me that the owner of this book has been asking for their book, and she just hasn't been letting me know. So time to get into that. And I said more of that today at work. I'm currently on page 34. I think this is going to go by really quickly. Let's do some deduction. The book starts off with a fire. What we know 30 pages in, and the characters we have been introduced to. The first guy, who is the main character, I said I did not like. Let's call him Mr. C, because I don't know how to pronounce his name. Is up on the screen. The house belongs to a man called Paul Hanover. There are two bodies that are found burnt. Okay, but we find these people died as a result of gunshot wounds. Like, is this arson? Is this like a suicide murder? Like somebody shot somebody, then sets the house on fire, then shot themselves. So this detective guy, Mr. C, he's pretty kind of convinced just from looking at it that this is the most likely scenario, and he's presented to us as unlikable. Okay, I realize this because another detective, retired homicide officer, comes into the scene and does not like this guy, and almost every other character introduced so far does not like this main guy. This person that owns the house, the suspect is the man, one of the bodies that was found there. That is Mr. Paul, and this Mr. Paul is a significant donor to the current mayor of the city. So the current mayor asks Detective Abraham Glitsky to come onto the scene. Detective Abraham has been retired from homicide or out of homicide and is now in like publicity for quite a couple of years. But Miss Mayor Ma'am doesn't trust Mr. C guy, and she's like, I'm sending you my man into this scenario. Turns out Mr. C and this Abraham guy have past history. Now, Abraham is introduced to us with his wife. He has a couple friends. The mayor trusts him. He has a solid rep in homicide investigation, right? So it kind of is like Mr. Abraham and Mr. C do not get along, but somehow they have to work on this case together. And Miss Mayor Woman is like, I don't believe that my donor would kill his girlfriend, set on fire, and then kill himself. He doesn't strike me as that kind of person. So I'm sending you Mr. Abraham to be sure that this investigation is carried out properly. But really what I want to hear is that he didn't do that. So Mr. Abraham is like in a tight spot because now he has to go face off his nemesis, and also he has come in with the direct motive to disagree with his nemesis. I hope that made some sort of sense to you guys. So what is going on here is that we have set up Mr. C as unlikable and reckless, so we are not to trust his conclusion that the culprit is the victim as well of this case, and we are to trust Abraham because he's been set up really nicely. It seems like a trustworthy guy. I feel like this book sets it up for me to be more distrustful of the mayor and Mr. Abraham over Mr. C. Like, it is so glaringly obvious in like choosing sides, so that I just feel like, oh, these people seem too good to be true, and it's kind of sketchy that she wants him to go in and prove that her donor is not, a killer, and then this lone reckless, guy might be the good guy that wants justice. I feel like this is the approach this book wants me to take. But my intuition tells me to be comfortable in believing everything I am seeing, in that maybe Mr. C is not so much of a bad guy. Maybe he really is just a little bit reckless, and maybe there might be some truth to his theory, but also that I can be comfortable in trusting Mr. Abraham as a good guy, and also comfortable in believing that the culprit is not Mr. Paul. Yeah, I just wanted to share that with you guys. Obviously, I'll let you guys know the outcome, and you guys get to judge my deduction skills. It is Wednesday morning. I finished the motive on Friday night. It went as quickly as I thought it would go just because it's a thriller. But turns out that I was absolutely doing the most, and there was no deducing to be deduced because I was reading the book. My heart was like pounding like it always does with a thriller, wanting to see the outcome of this and all that. So I did what I always do when it gets to this point for me. I went to look for spoiler. But anyways, I ended up finding out that Abraham Glitzky is one of John Lescurrat's main characters. There are books with him as the main character, like a series with his investigation work and all. And he wasn't even the main character in this. A guest role, and then the main character is this lawyer because it's a legal thriller that is his friend. I'm glad to have trusted what I saw, but I also, knowing this information, I don't think I did any deduction concerning that, and I was just overall thinking too much, and I should have just read the book and kind of taken it as face value. But it was as thriller as any thriller gets. So today is Wednesday. Over the weekend, I couldn't bring myself to pick up A Broken Kind of Love. I truly was just not looking forward to it. So today, I'm sorry, on Monday, I picked it up, and wow, this book has taken every single thing I love and just made a mess of it. Like insta love, miscommunication, surprise pregnancy trope, reverse age gap, which I think is currently the best romance trope. And I'm not even talking like guilty pleasure trope. I'm not talking like underrated niche romance trope. I'm talking like, I currently think reverse age gap is the best thing in a romance to ever exist. And it just turned it and took all these things further and made a mess of it. Like, I just don't get it. First of all, the book mostly feels like a summary. What do you mean that 60% before 50% they have met, had feelings for each other, found out about their age gap and the relationship between them, fought these feelings for each other, got together, had one huge fight, got back together, and then the reason for the third breakup comes up all before the 60% mark. Like, what are we doing? Where are we rushing to? This is one of my issue I have with Nigeria romances, and I remembered because this was a problem I had with Broken by Fatima Bala, and today I was just scrolling on Instagram and I saw to Adego with Love, a Nigerian movie that came out earlier this year, was nominated for a film festival, I think The Thief, if I'm not mistaken. And I just remember how annoyed I was with that movie because it was progressing so beautifully, but somewhere along the line, the writers just decided they had no more patience to cultivate this relationship, and it was time to rush through everything. Like, that is exactly the same thing that is happening in this book. Ogugua feels reluctant towards having a relationship. Ogugua being the main girl in this feels reluctant to us having a relationship with Olumese because he's almost 10 years younger than her, and she's conflicted. She's told him, no, we can't do this, and then it doesn't even take a paragraph and somehow she has beautifully resolved all these emotions in her mind. Like, it's so crazy to me. I don't know where we are rushing to. We don't get to see the romance. It's just the characters telling us, oh, looking at her, I felt like I was flying like a bird in the sky. Calm down, cultivate a goddamn relationship. I don't get it. I honestly don't get it, and it pisses me off that I look up the reviews of this book and it's all 4 stars, 4.5 stars. Like, I think we need to be honest. There needs to be more criticism, because what I can tell you is that this one, Uma Wokedi, she's a very good writer. Picturing the things she's writing, creating a story out of it in my mind is really easy. Like, she writes really well, but the story is not flowing, and it is hurting my heart that this is something a lot of people consider a top tier romance in the Nigerian literary space. Like, it hurts, and honestly, we need to be so honest about this. It is not great. It is so rushed. Okay, I have no reason to be invested in this relationship whatsoever. I am so frustrated, but I will finish this book today. I think I'm even going to be done with it before I get to work so that I can jump right back into The Famished Road by Ben Okri. So that's the update for this morning. I will see you guys when I do.
3 weeks later.
My last update to you was on the 13th of May. Today is currently the 7th of June, and you haven't actually missed much because I haven't finished a single book since then. So makes no difference. Right, before I get into reading updates and how we are moving forward for this vlog, let's do a fun little unboxing. I bought some books right around the time of my last update, and I actually got these books for my next vlog. It has a theme that had me really needing to comment, hence the physical investment. You can take, a chance and kind of like guess what the theme of the new vlog is going to be, right? Because these books and like the authors and just the situation surrounding them have something in common. And so because I wanted to do, like, I really wanted to read these books, but I was like, how fun would it be if I filmed it? Then I just thought to myself, I actually might not commit to this, so I decided to get the books like the physical copy, just because of the nature, just so I can at least give it a fighting chance before I give up, right? And ever since then, everything has been haywire, and I haven't been able to open it. So it's a Sunday today. I'm having a relatively chill morning, and I just said, yeah, because I was about to pick up my book and start reading actually, just to get done with it. And I was like, let's open this up, because my sister comes into this room every single day since I got this book, and it's like, do I help you to open this up? And I'm like, girl, so let's open this up. Oh god, opening new books is such a pleasure for me, honestly. I just feel like it's not because I've been so busy I refuse to open this. It's just that I want to document this joy and happiness, because I know I'm not going to be buying a lot of books this year. I have so many unread ones, which I have actually never had this amount of unread physical books in my life before. Oh my goodness, this makes me so freaking excited, and the covers are so pretty as well. Oh my god, you guys. Okay, oh, this is a new one. I love getting books from Buy Books and Pelaco, because they always give me bookmarks. Like, I don't think I've ever spent my money on a bookmark, because I always buy books from them. So this is just great. It is lovely. Okay, I love that they do this, because otherwise I wouldn't have bookmarks, if I'm being very honest with myself. I will be using a piece of paper or just dog earing my books, because hey, I really love this color. It is such a beautiful, vibrant color. Not that we are here for the bookmark. I love that. So I don't know which of this to get out first. Okay, let me get out the one without a wrap. So given my past experiences with this author, I think this is something that might end up turning out to be a bad financial decision, but the cover is pretty, so very much justified. Okay, so the first book we have is Son of the Morning by Akwaeke Emezi. When I just saw Leviathan, Lucifer, I'm just like, a mixture with Oriaku, if I'm not mistaken, even though I can no longer find it on the bag. But when I saw this thing from this book, like the synopsis of this book, yes, I can see the Oriaku. I was like, interesting dynamic. Okay, because usually when you have like a Lucifer and a Leviathan, you don't expect an Oriaku. So like when you have Western mythology stuff, you don't expect Oriaku. Is it Igbo? I think it's Igbo, right? You don't expect an Igbo name in the mix unless you're reading a book like Shigidi and the Brass Head of Obalufon, which I really enjoyed. So I wasn't like, now we are actually getting it like romance centered. Sign me up immediately. It looks so pretty. There's no way this is going to be a bad financial decision. Like, even if I don't like what is inside, when I get myself a rare bookshelf, this is going to be facing front and out. The last thing I actually just got 2 books. Okay, is Heart Analytics. I will not be opening this yet till I'm ready to read this. I don't know the need to actually wrap this up like this, but this is a newly released Nigerian romance, and I just love the cover. I love this for me. I love this. Is so pretty. Now that fun is out of the way, remember that I have not yet finished the book, one of the books I introduced you guys to in the TBR, which honestly is the highlight of this vlog for me, because this is about to be the best thing I have read in a long time. I'm trying to think of the last time I felt this way about a book, and all that comes to mind is North and South by Elizabeth Gaskell, which I read around May last year. I think that was the only book I read in May last year, so it's very fitting that I picked this up in May. And I think I was kind of just obsessing over the coincidences, and I ended up dragging this out till June. I think the reason I really dragged this out, so I want to be honest with you guys, is that I don't want this book to be over. But never mind the fact that it is a trilogy, and I have the second book in the trilogy sitting on my shelf waiting for me. I just don't want to be done with it. But obviously I have to move on because now I'm getting into a bit of a roadblock mentality with that. So yes, I have less than 100 pages honestly to be done with the famished road, and I can tell that I am going to fly through it with how invested I have been in these characters and these stories. Like, it is so interesting. It is so interesting. I honestly highly recommend you pick up this book. Like, the social commentary just hits the absolute right spot. The relationship dynamic between characters is so different because the main character in this is a little child. His relationship dynamic with his dad very different from with his mom. He now has a new friend that was introduced pretty late. Like, I'm sure we might get to see more of that in the second book. Very interesting. There is this lady, Madame Koto, how they went from a kind of mutual understanding of each other to realizing they actually do not know about each other to full on becoming rival. Is this world of, like, I want to use the word wanderlust, to be honest, without it being frivolous. I want to be done with this before highest 2. Today's Sunday, so fully achievable, fully achievable. I have come to wrap up this vlog. I was able to finish the famished road on Sunday like I said I would. Today is Wednesday. I wasn't able to update you guys through the past 2 days. So to quickly end off this vlog, I finished the famished road. I really enjoyed this. If I had to give it a rating, which this is a book that I just feel so strongly about, that I feel like attaching a number to express how I feel about it is just a joke, right? So but I will give it 5 stars. Yeah, that's the point I was trying to make. I got carried away. Why did I get carried away? My story graph is still up with reviews for the 3 books I read in this vlog. Starting off with a summary for what I think about this book. This book was so good that I think that if this country was a country with any real working systems, this book has a very high probability of getting banned just because of how real it is as it looks into the lower class side of the Nigerian society and how other factors of the Nigerian society, most especially politics, affect those side. And I think that is like very important, especially now that we are in a period of election and people are campaigning to the poor, to the underprivileged, to the people that are not, receiving the things that are supposed to come easy or natural as a result of you being a living human being. Really, really good book. Highly, highly recommend. Then Adesa Umahokedi, A Broken Love Story, was a romance that was easy to read, really easy to read, but I just wish I was able to get more, emotional fulfillment from that. I really didn't. Okay, and then which book was that? The thriller, The Motive by John Lescroart, was pretty much a basic thriller. Like, it wasn't bad, but it wasn't mind blowing. Like, it's nothing I've not seen before. So if you like a thriller, or maybe you want to try out a legal thriller, this is a really good place to start, to be very fair with you guys. Plus, it also has the added benefit of main characters that are really, really, really likable, to not make really dumb decisions because other people's lives are at stake. That's it for this vlog, you guys. I most definitely will see you in my next vlog. I have already started filming that, so be excited for that, be pumped for that, even though honestly I have no idea when you guys will see that. But yeah, till then, hope you are having the best of time reading the most wonderful books, reading the most life-changing books, reading the trashiest books if that is what you are in the mood for. Stay safe till I see you next time. Bye.